Before I start this video, due to the nature and sheer insanity of the topic being discussed, I might as well leave this disclaimer here. To my knowledge, this article I'm sourcing is 100% real. I know that some people nowadays in this community, online, and everywhere pretty much nowadays, don't fact check and take articles from websites such as The Onion, P4 Gaming, Clickhole, and more at face value. However, after looking at this website, it's unlikely a website owned by the same people as Eurogamer will go as far as to make some interview with the Nintendo employee up. And Nintendo is, in fact, not the same Nintendo you loved and knew in the 90s. Or if you didn't live in the 90s, it's the same Nintendo you knew from buying a used Nintendo 64 off Amazon. So I think by now we all know about Nintendo's horrendous E3 at E3 2015. And they managed to do something that many companies couldn't manage, and that was divide their own fans heavily, especially with a company that has fans who are known to say yes to everything they do. Instead of announcing games people actually wanted, Nintendo came to E3 with half-baked spin-off games and a new installment in a series that hadn't had a release in a while with tacked-on gimmicky controls. The Animal Crossing spin-offs announced at E3 were one subject of mockery, with the core audience for the game wanting another furry waifu simulator. Instead, however, they got a party game and some house designer game, I guess. So one of the developers of this game was actually asked by a legit gaming website, US Gamer, about this. The quote that made it into the headline of the article: "Honestly, we just wanted Animal Crossing Amiibo." You heard that right. This isn't a parody article you'd see on some parody gaming website that runs the same kind of headlines you'd see in an issue of The Onion or Weekly World News. This is a real thing, and a real article, and a real quote. Now, when asked by the interviewer about the original concept of the game, the developer said that they wanted Nintendo to make Animal Crossing Amiibos, so they developed the game revolving around this. In fact, just like Skylanders or Disney Infinity, the new Animal Crossing game is going to be bundled with an Amiibo. However, there are no plans to add Amiibo support via an update to New Leaf, nor are there plans to add additional content to that game like Nintendo has done with Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart 8, to the praise of many Nintendo fans experiencing DLC for the very first time without the logo of a Western third party. But hey, at least they did confirm that they are aware of their fanbase buying up Amiibos. They did confirm that in their own words, a certain character, and I think we all know who exactly they're referring to by this, was very popular, and that a lot of people would be happy to buy an Amiibo based off this character. So if you're into buying Amiibos and not playing video games, you can now buy toys based off your favorite waifus. Let's be honest though. Just a year ago, the one reason I saw people saying to buy a Wii U over the Xbox One and the PS4 wasn't because of the system's power, as it's about as powerful as that old Mac you saw like back in elementary school, you know, with all the cool clear colors and stuff. It's not because of the wide selection of non-Nintendo games, as third parties abandoned the system quickly, so unlike the Super Nintendo or old Nintendo Entertainment System days, you won't be able to play third-party games from various developers. It's not because of the features, as the system lacks CD or DVD playback as every disc-based Nintendo system has, along with UPnP support so you can't use your Wii U's media center at least. It's because of Nintendo's first-party games. Literally every fluff piece that websites ran saying the Wii U was a good buy would always mention the library of new installments and long-running franchises, and the few exclusives Nintendo could shell out money for. And since many of them were written in 2014, some of them would talk about Nintendo's upcoming games too, so technically it talked about Nintendo's first-party games twice. And now look at the Wii U, and even to a lesser extent the 3DS. The lineup of upcoming games is sparse, rivaling that of the last-gen systems, which are losing third-party support as they age and already technically on life support, while Nintendo is already hurting sales of their console by announcing they're working on a successor, while the previous console is still up for sale and not even close to, at least if you're comparing it to last-gen consoles' lifespan, not even close to being dumped. The narrative of Nintendo being the one company caring about games is falling apart, as Nintendo continues to sell toys instead of games. But considering how Amiibos and their artificial supply constraints are generating lots of talk online, Nintendo is appealing to that segment of their fanbase who cares less about if the game is actually good, and more if the game has their favorite mascot character in it, because, you know, toys are more important than gameplay, especially when toys, which are hard to find, activate dislot content. But hey, that's totally working for the other companies. I mean, just take a look at the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, which experienced the first major fan backlash the series has had in a while, when Sonic's arm color was changed, along with the designs of the characters in general, resulting in at least one GameStop employee being assaulted with a can of pepper spray by a crazy person, and many jokes were being made about Sonic being dead again online. Even though Sonic is like the Weezer of video games, where they had some stuff people cared about in the 90s, and then ever since the 90s nobody's even cared, at least it sold some copies for a while, right? Long story short, Nintendo cares more about selling you a toy of your waifu than they do making games that are good. That's all that needs to be said, because honestly, you should really think the next time when you buy that Amiibo what Nintendo's going to do because you bought it. Will they make games you want, or will they just make more toys? That's all that needs to be said, and thanks for watching.